September 11, 2025. Edwards Air Force Base, California. A second B-21 Raider silently cuts through the sky, escorted by an F-16 chase plane. Forget another routine test flight. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a strategic shockwave. The Pentagon has quietly confirmed a capability in this new bomber that, frankly, should be illegal. We're talking about technology that renders the mighty B-2 Spirit obsolete and delivers it at less than a third of the cost. But here is the critical fact the mainstream media is deliberately ignoring. This aircraft can execute a mission profile no other machine in military history has ever achieved. Stick with us, because what we're about to reveal will permanently redraw your map of global air power. Welcome to Frontline Eye. The B-21 Raider isn't just another bomber. It is a sixth-generation marvel that is fundamentally rewriting the rules of modern warfare. With the second test aircraft now airborne, the Air Force has finally pulled back the curtain on capabilities that, to be blunt, sound like pure science fiction. Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about America's newest strategic weapon, and why our adversaries, specifically China and Russia, are losing sleep over its existence. The September breakthrough. On September 11th, 2025, something truly remarkable happened at Edwards Air Force Base. The second B-21 Raider completed its maiden flight, departing from Northrop Grumman's plant, 42 inches Palmdale, and touching down at Edwards with textbook precision. Air Force Secretary Troy Mink correctly labeled it a game-changer. Here's why this second flight matters far more than the first. For nearly 2 years, the Air Force had just one flying B-21, conducting basic performance checks. One aircraft meant limited testing and inherently slow progress. But now, with 2 Raiders in the air, the entire program accelerates exponentially. The testing regimen can finally move beyond mere flight performance and dive into the real substance: weapons integration, mission systems, and combat readiness evaluations. Consider the strategic implications for our warfighters. The first B-21 has been flying 1 to 2 sorties every week since November 2023. That's steady, methodical testing. But a second aircraft doubles the operational pace. Maintainers gain hands-on experience with simultaneous operations. Engineers can test entirely different systems on each aircraft at the exact same time. The learning curve just got steeper in the best possible way. And the Air Force isn't stopping there. 3 more B-21 seconds are scheduled to join the flight test campaign soon. That's 5 flying Raiders working together to validate every aspect of this revolutionary platform. From extreme weather conditions to complex simulated combat scenarios, these aircraft are being pushed to their absolute limits. General David Alvin, the Air Force Chief of Staff, put it perfectly. This second aircraft accelerates the path to fielding operational Raiders faster. That urgency matters because while we've been developing the B-21, our adversaries haven't been sitting idle. China and Russia have invested heavily in advanced air defense systems, designed specifically to counter older American stealth technology. The B-21 is our definitive answer, and it is arriving right on schedule. If you're proud of American innovation and military superiority, type "proud" in the comments below. On time and on budget. The unprecedented win. But here's something that should truly blow your mind. The B-21 program is actually running on time and on budget. When was the last time you heard that about a major defense program? The F-35 was plagued with delays and cost overruns. The KC-46 tanker? Same unfortunate story. But the B-21, as Lieutenant General Andrew Gabara confirmed, is basically on time, basically on budget, and producing real results. That is a massive win for taxpayers and a testament to an intelligent, streamlined acquisition strategy. Stealth like never before. Now, let's talk about what truly makes the B-21 Raider the stealthiest aircraft ever built. And we are not exaggerating. Northrop Grumman, the company behind the legendary B-2 Spirit, calls the B-21 a quantum leap forward in low observable technology. It starts with the fundamental design. The B-21 uses a flying wing configuration, just like the B-2. No vertical stabilizers, no protruding surfaces. Everything blends into one smooth, continuous surface. But here is the first critical difference. The B-21 is significantly smaller than the B-2. It spans roughly 140 to 150 feet compared to the B-2's 172-foot wingspan. Why does that reduction matter? Because every inch of reduction in size means a smaller radar cross-section, RCS. Less surface area for enemy radar waves to bounce off translates directly to a lower chance of detection. The materials themselves are next level. The B-2 required constant, costly maintenance because its radar-absorbent coating degraded quickly. Those bombers had to be stored in climate-controlled hangars just to protect the stealth coating expensive, time-consuming, and not ideal for rapid deployment. The B-21 solves that problem with advanced composite materials that are far more durable. These new coatings hold up better in harsh conditions and require significantly less maintenance. That means more Raiders ready to fly at any given moment. But the real magic happens with the engine exhaust. Recent photos from the second B-21's flight revealed something fascinating. The exhaust system looks remarkably similar to the B-2's design, which was revolutionary in its day. The engines are buried deep inside the airframe. Hot exhaust gases get routed through long internal ducts before being expelled through broad, shallow slots on the upper trailing edge of the wing. Why this complexity? Because it effectively shields the hottest parts of the engines from infrared sensors looking up from below. Surface-to-air missiles that track heat signatures will have a much harder time locking onto a B-21. And here's the detail most people miss. The B-21 stealth isn't just about radar and infrared, it is all-aspect stealth. That means it's designed to be nearly invisible from every angle: front, sides, rear, top, bottom. The B-2 was primarily optimized for frontal stealth because it was designed to penetrate Soviet air defenses head-on. The B-21 takes it further. In a modern battle space with networked air defenses and sensors everywhere, you need 360-degree protection. The B-21 delivers. The multi-role architect. Here's where things get genuinely interesting. The B-21 Raider isn't merely a stealth bomber. It is a flying command and control center, a sensor node in the sky, and a quarterback for advanced drone operations. This is the new age of sixth-generation warfare, and the B-21 sits right at the heart of it. Former Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin talked about this at the B-21's unveiling ceremony back in 2022. He stated the bomber's sensing, computing, and communications technologies would prove even more impactful than its stealth exterior. That's a bold statement from a former Army general. But he understood one crucial truth. Modern warfare is not about single platforms operating alone. It's about networked systems working together, sharing data in real time, and making decisions faster than the enemy can react. So, what does that look like in practice? Picture this. A B-21 Raider penetrates deep into contested airspace, where surface-to-air missiles and enemy fighters patrol constantly. But it's not flying alone. It's controlling a swarm of unmanned drones flying ahead of it. These drones are probing enemy air defenses, gathering intelligence, identifying targets, and transmitting everything back to the B-21. The bomber's advanced sensors process all that data, fuse it with information from satellites and other aircraft, and distribute targeting solutions across the entire joint force, all while remaining virtually invisible. This is what open systems architecture makes possible. The B-21 was designed from day one to integrate new technologies as they become available. New sensors? Plug them in. Advanced weapons? Easy integration. Artificial intelligence upgrades? No problem. Compare that to legacy platforms like the B-52 or even the B-2, which require costly and time-consuming modifications every time you want to add new capabilities. The B-21's modular design means it can evolve with the threat environment without breaking the bank. And here's something that should keep our adversaries awake at night. The B-21 is designed to be capable of unmanned missions. That's right. No pilot in the cockpit if the mission profile requires it. While the Air Force hasn't laid out a specific timeline for autonomous operations yet, the capability is fundamentally built in. Imagine a scenario where manned B-21 seconds coordinate with unmanned B-21 seconds, multiplying combat power exponentially without putting additional pilots at risk. That is the future, and it is here. The weapons integration is equally impressive. The B-21's internal weapons bays are designed to carry next-generation standoff weapons. We are talking about the AGM-181 Long-Range Standoff (LRSO) missile, which will replace the aging ALCM nuclear-armed cruise missiles. The GBU-72 Advanced Bunker Buster for hardened targets. Even hypersonic weapons that can strike at speeds exceeding Mach 5. And because of that modular weapons bay design, future weapons that haven't even been invented yet can be integrated without major modifications. The strategic calculation. Let's discuss strategy. Why does America need the B-21 Raider right now? The answer comes down to geography, threats, and capability gaps. Start with the Indo-Pacific. China has been building up its military at an alarming rate. Anti-access. Area denial. A-2AD systems are everywhere. Long-range missiles, advanced networked radar systems, and fighter jets designed specifically to intercept American aircraft. The goal is simple. Keep American forces away from areas China considers vital, like Taiwan and the South China Sea. Traditional bombers simply cannot operate effectively in that environment. The B-52 has no stealth capability whatsoever. It's a sitting duck against modern air defenses. The B-1 Lancer is also non-stealthy, and the fleet is worn out from decades of hard use in the Middle East. That leaves just 18 operational B-2 Spirits, and they're getting old. The B-21 changes the calculus entirely. With a planned fleet of at least 100 aircraft, and possibly as many as 145 to 200 depending on final procurement decisions, the Air Force will have the numbers it needs to sustain operations across multiple theaters. Simultaneously, need to hold targets at risk in the Pacific while maintaining nuclear deterrence against Russia? The B-21 fleet can do both. Need to conduct deep strike missions into heavily defended airspace? The Raider is purpose-built for exactly that mission. Furthermore, the distances in the Pacific theater are enormous. Andersen Air Force Base in Guam is 1,700 nautical miles from Taiwan. Fighters operating from Guam would be pushing their combat radius to the absolute limit. The B-21 solves that problem with intercontinental range. It can fly approximately 6,000 miles without refueling, though the exact figure remains classified. That means Raiders can operate from bases in the continental United States, strike targets deep in contested areas, and return home without relying on potentially vulnerable forward bases. That is strategic flexibility our adversaries simply cannot match. Conclusion. The turning point. The B-21 Raider is America's definitive commitment to maintaining air superiority for decades to come. Breakthrough stealth, advanced networking, smart cost controls, and accelerating production. It is everything our Air Force needs to decisively face near-peer adversaries. September 11, 2025, marked the absolute turning point. The second B-21 taking flight means we're shifting from the development phase to operational preparation. Our warfighters will soon have a tool no adversary can match, a bomber that can go anywhere, strike any target, and return home safely. That's the B-21 Raider. That's American ingenuity. That's why we maintain the strongest Air Force on the planet. If this opened your eyes to what's coming, hit that like button and subscribe to Frontline Eye for more crucial coverage of American military power. Thanks for watching.